Imagine being sewn into a leather sack with a venomous snake, a rabid dog, a screeching monkey, and a flapping rooster, then thrown into a river to drown. This wasn't a myth. This was Roman justice. We often picture Rome as a civilization of law, engineering, and philosophy. But beneath the marble and the legions was a system of terror, designed not just to punish, but to shock, humiliate, and control. Today, we're counting down the 10 most brutal Roman punishments. Methods so extreme, they'll make you grateful you weren't born in ancient Rome. And trust me, number 1 will leave you speechless. 18 Number 10. Hand amputation for theft. Roman law was unforgiving toward property crimes. Under the 12 Tables, Rome's earliest legal code, stealing wasn't just fined. It was mutilated. A thief caught in the act could have his right hand severed in public. Why the right hand? Because it was the hand that took. This wasn't rare. Archaeologists have found Roman skeletons missing hands, likely victims of this punishment. The message was clear: your body pays for your crime. Number 9. Damnatio ad Bestias, condemnation to the beasts. Criminals, prisoners of war, and especially early Christians were thrown into the arena, not to fight, but to be mauled alive by lions, bears, or leopards. This wasn't just execution, it was entertainment. Emperors like Nero used it to distract the masses. The condemned were often naked, unarmed, and tied to stakes, forced to watch the beast approach. For Romans, this served two purposes: justice and spectacle. Number 8. Poena Cullei, the punishment of the sack. Reserved for the worst crime in Roman eyes: parricide, killing your own father. The convicted was stripped naked, then sewn into a leather sack with 4 live animals: a snake, a dog, a rooster, and a monkey. Then, the sack was thrown into the Tiber River to drown. Roman writers like Seneca said the animals represented chaos, punishing the unnatural act with unnatural death. This punishment was so infamous, it was still referenced 500 years later, even if rarely carried out. Number 7. Burning alive. Arsonists, those who set fire to Rome, faced a horrifying end: death by fire. During the Great Fire of 64 CE, Emperor Nero blamed Christians and used this method to execute them, wrapped in pitch-soaked tunics and lit like human torches to illuminate his gardens. Burning alive wasn't just painful, it was symbolic. You destroyed with fire, so fire destroys you. And because Roman law saw arson as an attack on the entire city, the punishment had to be public and absolute. Number 6. Crucifixion. You've heard of it, but you may not know how brutal it really was. Crucifixion wasn't just death. It was slow, public torture, designed to maximize suffering over hours or even days. Victims were nailed or tied to a cross, often after being whipped nearly to death. Crucifixion was reserved for slaves, rebels, and non-citizens. Roman citizens were exempt. It was considered too degrading. The goal? To make rebellion unthinkable. As the historian Josephus wrote, "Crucify them all, and let the crows feast." It was Rome's ultimate weapon of psychological terror. Number 5 might surprise you: exile and total asset seizure. For Roman elites, losing wealth and status was worse than death. If convicted of treason or corruption, you could be banished forever, stripped of citizenship, property, and family. Your name was erased from public records. Your children lost inheritance. This was civic death, a slow, lonely end in a foreign land. For men like Cicero's enemy Catiline, exile was a fate worse than the sword. Number 4. Collective punishment of slaves, including a method eerily similar to modern necklacing. In 19 CE, after a Roman prefect was murdered by his own slave, all 400 slaves in his household, including women and children, were executed, even if innocent. Why? Roman law held that slaves were responsible for protecting their master. Failure meant collective guilt, though not always burned with tires, like 20th century necklacing. The principle was the same: terror through collective punishment. This sent a chilling message: disloyalty, even by one, dooms all. Number 3. Decimation. one of Rome's most feared military punishments. If a legion mutinied, fled battle, or disobeyed orders, the entire unit was punished. Soldiers were divided into groups of 10. One man in each group was chosen by lot, then beaten or stoned to death by his 9 comrades. The word decimation literally means removal of 1/10. This wasn't just about discipline. It forced loyalty because your survival depended on your brothers not failing. Julius Caesar used it. Mark Antony used it. It was brutal, but effective. Number 2, Damnatio memoriae, condemnation of memory. After death, disgraced emperors like Nero, Caligula, or Sejanus faced a terrifying fate: total erasure. Their statues were toppled, their names chiseled from inscriptions, their coins melted down. Even history books were altered to pretend they never ruled. In a culture obsessed with legacy, this was the ultimate punishment: to die and be forgotten. Ironically, it often backfired because we still talk about them today. And number 1, the most shocking of all, supplicium serval, the systematic torture and public execution of slaves. Roman law allowed masters to torture, crucify, or kill slaves with near impunity. But during the Servile Wars, massive slave revolts led by Spartacus, Rome responded with unimaginable cruelty. After Spartacus's defeat in 71 BCE, 6,000 captured slaves were crucified along the Appian Way, a 120-mile road lined with crosses. Their bodies were left to rot for months, a warning to any who dreamed of freedom. This wasn't justice. It was state-sponsored terror, and it reveals the dark truth. Rome's glory was built on the broken backs of the enslaved. These punishments weren't random cruelty. They were tools of control in a society built on hierarchy, fear, and order. But here's the real lesson. Every civilization believes its justice is righteous until history judges it. Rome gave us law, roads, and language, but also some of history's most brutal methods of control. If you found this eye-opening, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell, because we uncover the dark truths history tries to hide. And tell me in the comments, which punishment shocked you the most? Until next time, stay curious and grateful you live in the 21st century.